All right, I think we're good. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm gonna need some confirmation if you guys hear me, if you see me, if you see the screen. I can hear you and see the screen very well. Awesome, perfect. This is good. Thank you, everyone. Perfect. So we might just talk a little bit in general until we have a couple more people in here. The idea and the objective of this stream is that I'm just looking to the side to look at my notes, but then I will look on this screen. Is that we look at anything related to flows, particularly use cases, or if you have any questions or comments, or you want to discuss anything. I have one use case that we can look at if no one has a particular question or use case that we can look at. So if you have a use case, feel free to share them with me in the comments. If you have a question, if you'd like us to look at one thing in particular, an introduction, whatever it is you need, like this is meant for you. This is meant for you. So if you have anything that we need us to look at, we will. Otherwise, I'm going to start with the use case that I have prepared, and I will, as I go through things, I will be making an assumption that the people watching this are either new or maybe have very basic knowledge of flows. So just waiting a minute to see if you guys have any particular questions or topics you would like us to look at first. And then if not, then I'll just start with the use case that I have. Might as well just organize these things. I realize that I have to have like 3 things open other than just the org. Dynamic formulas. You mean like reactivity? I think you're referring to a formula that would react to some change on, that's a reactivity pretty much. We can look at that. So we can look at that until we have some time for people to think about questions or topics to look at. So basically, let's start just a new screen flow where we can see. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm assuming we're talking about reactivity here, let me know if this is something different, Sean. Okay, so basically the idea. Awesome. Okay. So basically the idea is that we need something to react to something similar, like to a calculator. So if we have, if someone enters in one field, like maybe like cost per unit, the cost per unit is maybe like 5, and then we have something else. This might not be visible on the screen, but like another field is number of units. Let's say that we have like these 2 pieces of information, and we need like a formula. That's the 3rd piece. That's like now total cost. So this is just like a very quick example. This is the one that I could think of. If you have like a particular use case, we can look at that, but I can just try this first. So the total cost here is supposed to change based on the number of units. So if the number of units is 5, then this is supposed to respond to show 25. So let's try this. Let's try this. So let's go ahead with a new screen and display screen. I like to add the keyword screen on any screen so that I keep the word display reserved if I need to use this word elsewhere. So I always use the word screen on screen elements. Let's say that we're actually collecting the two pieces of information. So the cost, that's going to be a currency input field. So let's say this is cost per unit. And then the other one is going to be number of units. So this is a number field. We're going to add the number field here. Number of units. Now the third thing would be a display text. We're going to add a display text to display the result. Display text underscore total cost. This is where we're going to display the output. And the output is basically a formula. So we're going to create a formula in here in this resource, a new resource. And then I'm going to select formula. And this is how I like to name formulas. So this is a formula always starts with fx underscore. And then the return data type, we are returning a currency. And then this is total cost. You see now, this is referred to as Hungarian notations. Whenever you add a prefix like this, I wanted to have total cost available so that I can use it elsewhere. If I use total cost here in the display text as API name, I can't use it anymore. I can't use it anymore in the formula. So I'd like to continue doing this in case I still have total cost, the phrase total cost available in case I need to use it elsewhere. This is a return on a currency. And what we need this to do is cost per unit times number of units. Let's check syntax. Done. And let's hide those. I don't like these stuff. And done. Let's save this. Reactivity test. I want to see what that looks like. Feel free to stop me any time and ask any questions. This is the idea, is to have a conversation. Let's debug and see what that looks like. Run. Why is the display text not showing up altogether? Okay, because it's empty. So this is $5 times 3. That's 15. So you can like change it. You see, it's reactive. It's changing to this 100 times 50 and so on. So it keeps working like this. You can take this a whole lot further. I'm going to continue talking about reactivity for just a little bit. So we can go back here and make this even more reactive by maybe we want to make it like green or red perhaps. Okay, let's see how we can possibly do that. I know there was unofficial SF had some components, but let's try to do this out of the box first. In order to change the color, I'm gonna need to use a text template. This is where we can make it with color rich text. So let's try to create a text template. All right, let's try to create a text template. And let's make this the one that we just created, the formula that we just created. Let's make it green first without any reactivity. Yeah. So yeah, sounds good. I mean, let's go with green first. Let's try to make it green, and then let's see reactivity after. So I'm gonna create text template total cost, and that's this here, and let's say green total cost, and let's make this just green for now. Done. Okay, and now let's use this in here instead. So we're going to use the text template in here. All right, let's done. Let's save. Let's see what that looks like. It's not even green. All right, let's see why. Did I not save? Let's add total cost is, and let's okay. Train again. 4, 3. Okay, so it is currently green. Now we need it to be green when it is greater than 0 and red when it's less than 0, for example. Let's see where we can add that. So basically it's conditional. I could probably use 2 text templates and make them appear or disappear based on the output from the formula. Let's try that first and keep thinking while we're doing that. So I have a green total cost, and then let's try another text template. And let's say red total cost. And that's the same thing. So it's gonna be total cost is that's the formula. And then we need this to be red. Okay, now we've got 2 text templates. Now we need this to display differently. So if the number is greater than X, then display this. If it's greater than 0, then display the green text template. If it is less than 0, then display the red text template. And to have that if condition, we're gonna need a formula to do that. You could, you could like build one big formula to include all of this, but I'm gonna use like a separate one. So I'm gonna create another one. This is a text. It returns the text. Like the total cost is just the text. And now that's the total cost. This is the one that we're going to display eventually. Let's give this a try. Now this is going to be if the total cost now, if the total cost is greater than 0, then return the green text template, else return the red text template. Let's give this a try. Let's display this. I might go back and just like go through these things in a minute, just to make sure that it is working first. So this is total cost, and let's give this a try. Okay, so right now it's red. Now let's see if we put 10 and then 1. Now it becomes green, which seems to be working just fine. Is there a way that, can I put like a 0? Yeah, a negative, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So this is working, but I feel like we did this a little bit differently back then without having to use 2 text templates. I wonder how. Yeah, I think it had to do with unofficial Salesforce, but I don't remember exactly how. This is one way I remember to do that. Checking your comments, 1 second. It doesn't change from black to green. It goes back to black when I try. It goes back to black. Can you give me more context of like what did you enter in here? Like what values do you have in cost per unit, and what value did you have in the number of units? All right, so let's make it. So basically, we need now if it's 0, we need it to be black, and if it is less than 0, we need it to be red. If it's more than 0, we need it to be green. So these are like 3 conditions now. Let's go back to that text formula, and maybe I can use the case function instead. But I guess I have to. No, I can't use the case function in here. It has to be F. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so let's the reason I can't use the case function because when you use the case function, you basically have like a value, but you need like to specify if it is 0, if it is -1, if it is +1. But our conditions are like we're using greater than and less than, so I can't use the case function in here. All right, so we have basically 3 conditions: if it is greater than, if it is less than, if it is equal. So I'm just gonna take 2 of them, and then whatever else, then that's gonna be the black one. So let's just build it again. So here's the if condition. I'll just like start from scratch. If the formula for total cost is greater than 0, then give me the green text template. Else, I want to evaluate again. Like if that's not the case, then I want to evaluate it again. So I'm gonna add another if statement. I just put this in another line. That's the second if statement now. Now I want to evaluate again the same thing. I want to evaluate if it is now less than 0. So I'm gonna put this here. I'll change this to less than 0. So if it is less than 0, we need to use the red text template. And then if it's neither now, if it is not green, if it is not red, then I'll just use the currency total cost. This one is just like plain text. If it does accept it, let's convert this to text. And put this here. Right. So this is a currency data type, and we are returning a text data type. We need to convert this to text. Let's give this a try now. The expectation now is that it would say it would be black at 0, red at negative, and green at positive. 50 and 4. So this is green. Let's try 0. 0 is black, and let's try -5 and 1. That's red. So this is like one way to do reactivity. Reactivity is amazing. You can do a ton of stuff with it, and it works with a lot of other data types and components on the screen, and not just this. And for every release, Salesforce adds reactivity to more components. So it's amazing. It's amazing to know and use reactivity. Okay, does that sound good, Sean? Do you have any other questions here before we move on? Does anybody have any questions about reactivity? Awesome. Okay. All right, I can go forward. Let me share with you the use case that, before I do that, thank you, Gasser. Sounds good. I don't want to use the value directly to feed on the value field. Yeah, I mean, the usual flow and development, there is no one way to do things, but rather there is multiple ways to do things, and I think some ways are better than others. I feel like I want to go back and revisit what we just did today. You see, like we have 2 formulas. One of them is a currency and the other one is a text. I mean, this is helpful to see that this is a text and whatnot. But I feel like because there is 2, someone, like if I look at that again after some time, I think I might get confused which one is being used for what. So this is one of those cases where I typically don't add descriptions, but this is one of those use cases where I would think adding a description will do. trying to put them in one formula might be a good idea, might be a bad idea. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean the way a stream like this works is that it's mostly text. You will have to text me in the chat. Oh, awesome! Thank you, everyone. Let's move on. Let me share with you the use case that I had prepared, and okay, I think I pushed it to the screen, but do you guys see a custom convert lead, or does it not show up yet? Oh, I think it came up now. I don't know if this is normal for a stream to just like take some time to show up like this. Okay. Anyway, so this is a use case that awesome. Thank you. This is a use case that I received the other day. To have a. Did my camera froze? My camera is freezing. Sorry, fixing this. I think it's working now. Okay, so I received this use case the other day. This is a custom convert lead, and we basically, you know, when we have the lead object, there is the convert button to create the contact account and relationship. I'm sorry, a contact account and opportunity. And it might sound like, you know, it's already available out of the box. Why would someone build it? There is a license called Salesforce Platform, which is different from Salesforce license. These are like two different licenses. Salesforce Platform is a cheaper license, but it offers less access to features. There are many features that are not available, many objects that are not available for this license. One of them is lead. So there is a customer out there, or maybe many customers out there, that use Salesforce Platform license, and they don't have access to the lead object, and they want to mimic the behavior of a lead object. Okay, I'm seeing comments. I will read them in a minute. I just want to move a little bit forward with this use case, and then I'll check them again. So, like I said, there is this Salesforce Platform license which doesn't give access to the lead object, and we need to mimic that behavior. Not that I like it. I personally don't like the lead object altogether. I know it has a reputation in the ecosystem. Some people like it, some people don't. And I think it's very good for a particular use case, and that's when there is like an organization that has thousands of leads, and only a few people from those leads are contacts, meaning like these are like people that we have a good relationship with, people that maybe buy our products. So the list of people from the whole list of leads, when it is small, and there is just like a small number of people that we typically interact with, that we need to convert them from lead to contact. So we know that the list of contacts are people that are close to our organization. They engage with us, we talk to them, they buy from us, something like this. So this is the use case where I think lead would be meaningful. But from most of the organizations that I got to work with, that's not the case. I mean, usually we get to work and talk and engage with the specifically for nonprofits. Like every person you know is a potential donor. So I mean, it didn't make sense to me to make them a lead, but rather like a contact, and we continue to nurture our relationship with them. Lead feels like the kind of record that you want to ditch at some point. Like I don't want to see this anymore. Okay, so we concluded that we need to mimic this lead behavior. An organization wants that. Let's go ahead and give this a try now. And there is many things to it. You know, let's. I'm thinking about the high level mindset first now. Like, you know, like you are being. Someone told you like we need this. Now, how do you approach it? Like, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when a requirement comes in? basically, you know, like I don't think there are admins. I know that there is the title Salesforce admin out there, but I don't think there is that's an actual admin. I think an admin is also a consultant under the hood, or maybe an admin wears many hats. They are a business analyst, and I think it's just like there's no such thing as a Salesforce admin. You are a Salesforce admin and a Salesforce consultant, and probably a Salesforce developer as well. So basically, we need to ask questions. We need to run some discovery. The typical thing, perhaps the lead object altogether is not needed. Not because an end user would ask for a requirement that will go ahead and do it right away. Sometimes it's not needed. Sometimes they ask for a solution, and that's not the best thing to do. But you know, I'm gonna make an assumption that we already did this analysis. We did the conversation around products and whatnot. And we concluded that there is a need for a lead object, and there is a need for this solution. And then there is a need for this solution, and we can go ahead and start building then. And yes, I would also like, because part of this build requires you to basically map things for like fields from the lead object, the custom lead object that will create to accounts, contacts, and opportunities. Then it would be important to know which fields we're going to map to, and these fields would be available at contact, at account, and at opportunity. So it's important to look at them. Yes, indeed. So yeah, which fields we need and whatnot. For the purposes of this as well, we'll just make it simple. We can just like for the contact, we're gonna map the first name, last name, email, and email. And for the account or company, we're just gonna map the company name. And for the opportunity, or just maybe just create the opportunity amount. Just so you know, for simplicity, you can expand on this and add more to it. Another thing I would do is, because I know that we're mimicking the lead convert process, let's go ahead and see what that lead convert process looks like. What does it look like if I were to convert a lead, so that I see what that looks like, and then build accordingly. So first, it's a button. So first thing, it's a button. So we're gonna need to create a button. Can we create a button with Salesforce Flows? We know that we can create a quick action, and we can add it to highlights panel like this. So we can create a button, and that button can launch a flow. Now, so this is what it looks like. At a glance, I immediately tell that, and you know, like there are things in there that you can't do with a standard screen flow. You can just like, I don't think you can have like a vertical line like this. You can't have like this. I mean, there's even colors in the background. So that calls for a Lightning Web component if you want it to be like exactly like that. But you know, that's not necessarily the case. We can still build something, but it's not gonna look exactly like that. So this is something that, if I were to, you know, if this was a requirement in a project, this needs to be communicated. You know, like the conversion is gonna, it's not gonna look exactly like this one. It's gonna look somewhat similar. So it might not be exactly this, like I said, but it's going to be similar. We'll see how we can do this. Create a new. So this is now, assuming that this is screen flow, it's auto-populating the account name. It's grabbing it from the company name. So thinking ahead, we're going to need a screen on a screen flow. That screen has a field for account name, and that account name is pre-populating the company name from the lead object. This is one thing. And then let's not do this part. Instead, we're gonna add logic to check for duplicates anyway. So we're gonna look for an account in the system with the same name. And if we find it, then we do nothing. It already exists. If we don't find anything, we create it. And we'll do the same for all of them. For contact, same thing. We'll have first name, last name, and email. We will populate these, pre-populate them. And for the opportunity, we will just, there is opportunity name as well. Let's do opportunity name and amount. And it looks like down here that it would also update the lead. It would also update the lead. What we just like, the list that we just said, Probably I will write them down in like a list of to-dos on the Jira ticket or the ticket on the project management tool. But you know, like we can just move forward. I'm not sure like why we have the record owner here. Is that like the owner of the new records? I don't remember. I haven't done this much before. Okay, we can just ignore it. The owner is gonna be the person who is creating the record. In this case, it's gonna be me. All right, so we've got the screen, and then we'll do the duplicate management in the flow as well, and then that's pretty much it. And there was another piece in the. I'm not even sharing my screen all this time. Very successful first live stream. Yeah, so I was talking about all of this. There is a button here very quickly, and the button we have the account name, the contact, and the opportunity. Do you guys see the convert screen now? Do you guys see the convert screen? The convert lead? Nobody is watching the show anymore. Thank you everyone for attending today. We'll see you next time. I'm just joking. I'm gonna pause a little and drink something until we have someone who wants to watch this. I know you're there. I see the views. Okay. I think this live stream will be recorded anyway, and it's gonna be on the channel. So I'll just continue. And for anybody that wants to watch this after, you guys can. Okay. So we know what we need to do. We need a screen a button, and then a screen, and then duplicate management. And there was another requirement on the use case. I'll just pull it up here very quickly, and that is the related records. So these related records are tasks and emails. So let's tackle these things one by one. Okay. Going to setup. I'm going to create a new flow now. So it was important to know that it's a button. Okay, it was important to know that it is a button because before building a screen flow, you need to know where this is going to live eventually. It's like, I know it's the very last step to do to add it like to a page or something, but it's one of the very early pieces of information you need to know, because based on where it's going to live, the build differs a little bit. If you're going to run it from a list view, then you might be sending record IDs. If you're sending it from a page, then you might be passing the record ID of the record detail. If you're running it on an Experience Cloud page, on a home page, for example, or maybe on a home page on a Lightning page, then you don't have record ID, you don't have record IDs, you just have to query whatever records you need. So it's important to know ahead of time where the screen flow is going to live. Let's go ahead and start that screen flow. Okie doke. All right, so the person is going to click convert and then the screen opens up. So the first thing they see is the screen. But on the screen, we were pre-populating the company name, the opportunity name, and the contact first name and last name. So I'm gonna need to get these first. The convert button is gonna be on a custom object that we haven't actually created yet. So let's quickly do that. I'm going to create a custom object for lead. That's going to be the custom lead. So this is custom lead object. And I'll just set this to auto number and then custom lead 1. And I'm just gonna give it any icon for now. All right, skipping through all of this just to save some time. The information we need here are going to be the contact information. Let's go with text, first name. Let's go first name. And then we're going to need last name and we're going to need email. And then the text. Last name. I mean, maybe we missed this part, Sean. Basically, I was saying that this use case is meant for a Salesforce platform license, not for the standard Salesforce license, and the Salesforce platform license do not have access to the lead object. So we're building this on an assumption that the lead object doesn't exist in the org. That's why like this organization is creating the custom lead object. They have their own custom lead object, but we're just creating this one. Yeah, I mean, I remember once using like a tool to do that, but I haven't done this for a while. Just a few fields. I think if I were, we had projects where we needed to create more than 100 fields, so I think I would use a tool like that for such a use case. So just a couple more fields. So Gasser shared that a toolkit, a Salesforce toolkit to mass create basic fields for custom objects. Do you want to share maybe the name of the tool for others? Yeah, we know this is actually a good idea. We can do that on the lead objects just to save the time of creating these custom fields. That's a good idea. I like that. Let's save some time. Let's actually do that on the lead object. So we're going to do it on the lead object. If the organization has a custom lead, then it's basically the same steps that they're going to do it on the custom object. Okay. So because it's running on a record detail, so the person is going to click the convert button on a record detail. So we can pick up the record ID. To do that, you can create a new resource. You can create a text variable and you name it record ID. It has to be named exactly like this. Record ID, I is capital, everything else is small. So this is the text, and then it needs to be available for input. Just by doing this, after we add the button and someone clicks on that button, the flow automatically receives the record ID into that variable. Okay. All right, now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna query this lead. When the flow starts, it does have access to the record ID, to the lead ID only. It doesn't have access to the entire record. We need other information like the contact first name and last name and email and whatnot. So we're gonna perform that query. So let's do a get. Let's get lead. And that's the lead object, and we need where the ID of the lead equals that record ID that got passed on. So the flow received the record ID from the page where we are on. When the user clicked convert, the flow queried the entire record to get all of the information. So that's the record that you received from the page. We used that and we got a lead that has the same ID. Now, which information do we need? You almost always want to use the second option here. Like this option here is generally bad because unless you know for a fact that you need all of the fields on the object, only retrieve the fields that you need because it has some security consequences. What we need here is first name, we need last name, we need email, we need company name. Is there like an amount field or something? No? Okay. All right, so we're just gonna get these fields. Now that we have this information, let's go ahead and create a screen where we display and pre-populate this. Now this is the information screen. We'll display, so it's more of an input, like the user is inputting the contact first name, but we pre-populated for them in case they need to make an adjustment. So this is first name, and then another one for last name. And then you can use, I mean, you could potentially use the fields here, but I don't typically like to do that because it doesn't give me 100% customization. You're limited. It uses the same security as the actual field. I'd like to have control of it. That's why I typically prefer to use the inputs. This is not supposed to be an input. This is supposed to be an email data type. You know, like these things are like an email is actually a text, but it's a text with built-in validation to confirm that, to make it like in an email format. It's actually a text. Anyway, so this is the email, and then we need the another text for company name. Let's say account name. And then we need one for opportunity name, and let's do opportunity amount. You can add some cosmetics here. Of course, you can make this like in a section for contact information, and you can make this in a section for company information, and this is a third section for opportunity. You can make them 2 columns instead of 1. You can do all of that. I just focus on the logic instead of how that looks like. That's fairly easy to do. I wanted to hide pause and hide previous, and I'll change it. We can change the name on the finish button. It says finish or next. It depends on if it's the first screen. And if it is the last screen, it's going to say finish. Otherwise, it's going to say next. Let's change this to use a custom label here, and let's say submit instead. Okay. And I want to hide the header as well. The header typically displays the name of the flow, and the name of the flow is meaningful for the flow builder or the Salesforce admin, but it's not meaningful to the end user. I would rather like add a display text up top here and give it some proper title. Display text, convert title, convert lead. Okay. You know what? I wanna just like, so that I don't have to keep scrolling down. Let's add a section with 3 columns here: first name, last name, email, and then another section just for opportunity, 2 columns, opportunity name, and then opportunity amount, just to reduce the scroll. Let's save this. We need to save often after. I think it was after some release that we needed to save more often. This is custom lead conversion. I'll debug. I think nobody uses the finish in the button on the screens. Like finish it, like kill it or something. Anyway, let's test so far. Just you know, like you want to test regularly, you want to debug regularly when you're building, so that if you do something wrong, and we all do, you catch it early. You don't want to like build a big flow and then debug 10 problems at one time. You need to like debug one problem at a time. Debug one problem at a time. Sorry, kids are making a party in the background. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so let's shut this down. We're getting the lead. I wanna take some information from the lead and display them here. Pre-populate them. So the first name is gonna be the first name from the lead. To access that, that's the default value down here. And then we've got the lead. That's lead from get lead. And then I need the first name to be here. Very easy. And then I'm just gonna repeat this for last name as well. Default value here. That's last name. And then we need the email here. The value is going to be the email. And then the account name, that's lead name. What is company? It was called company. Company, yes. And then opportunity name. There's nothing that says opportunity name at the lead object. So we're just gonna come up with a name, or we'll just make up a name. So we can maybe set it to the name of the company, and then I'll just add like 500. You see, like this is, you can treat this like a formula. It works. Maybe I might need to put this. I'm not sure. Let's give it a try. Let's see what that looks like. And the opportunity amount will set this to 500 by default. I think we should let them enter that information, but just for the sake of using the default values, let's give this a try. Saving and debugging again. I'll continue to debug like one piece at a time and fix them one piece at a time. Let's run. Okay, so this looks like a text. It's not a formula. So what we need to do is just treat it as such. So let's delete this and this and this, and that's it. It's text. Okay, so that looks good. It's pulling the first name, it's pulling the last name, it's pulling the email, the account name, the pre-populating the opportunity amount, and pre-populating the opportunity name. So far, so good. Just checking your comments before I move forward. Testing as we go is extremely helpful. Location, name, branch, or something. Are you suggesting like additional fields, Sean? Like, feel free to add additional fields. I'm just trying to limit it to a small number of fields so that I know we're running out of time. Okay. All right, moving forward, let's try to pick up the pace a little bit so that we can get this done. Now, like after this, and this is something that you want to also do as well. We're going to create the contact, we're going to create the account, we're going to create the opportunity. Everything DML, DML stands for data manipulation language, and we basically mean create or update. Anything create or delete, or delete, or delete as well, or update. You know, we want it to be, you want this to be last, unless there is a reason to make it in like early on. So you don't, maybe like if you have a survey or an application where you have 5 screens, the first screen creates the contact, the second screen creates the account. I don't create the contact and the account after each screen. Rather, I complete all the screens, and then all the way at the end, and just maybe like I store the values in a record variable, but then all the way at the end, after the user actually clicks submit, or like I'm done, then this is the point where I go ahead and create them. The reason is sometimes you might create a contact early, and then the user is like, you know what, I don't want to apply anymore. So the contact got created without an application. This is one problem, unless the organization actually wants this to happen. Another problem is that maybe you create a contact, and then down the line, another adjustment is made to the contact. So you're going to have to query the contact again, make the adjustment, make an update to that contact, and make sure that you don't create a duplicate. And sometimes the user goes all the way forward through the 10 screens and then goes all the way back to the first screen and makes an adjustment on the first screen. So after the first screen, you create the contact, and then the user comes back to the same screen again, and then it clicks next again, which goes through the create again, and then you might create a duplicate. If you don't want to create a duplicate, then you're gonna have to account for duplicate management at that point. And if they make an adjustment to the first name, then you might not find it, and you will assume that it's a new contact, and then you create a duplicate. So it introduces a bit of a mess. I would rather keep all create and update at the end of a massive screen flow. And because our flow is just small, then we can just go ahead and create. Preferably first, we get the contact, try to find it first. If it does find an added decision element, if it does find it, then we do nothing. If it doesn't find it, then we create a new contact. But I'm conscious of time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and create the contact right away. So create contact. We're gonna select the contact object, and then it automatically populates the required fields. So I'm gonna pick up the last name. Why is this not disappearing? And then we need the first name as well. First name from the screen, and then we need the email, and that's the email from the screen. Email and then value. There are other attributes to the email. The only thing we need is the email value. And then we're gonna create the company. Create company or account, and that's account. And the account name is the account name from the screen, and the last thing is create opportunity. Create opportunity. Some things are required. I'll just use the global variable flow. We can talk about that later. And then the name is the opportunity name from the screen, and then the stage, let's say anything prospecting. Where's the amount? Let's add the amount to be the amount from the screen. Let's save this. Let's debug. And debug is actually going to run it. Let's so that's the okay. Let's submit. See what happens. An error, duplicates. So like adding duplicates would be helpful. Let's run again. I'll just say I'll change this so that we can get it to save. Maybe some just like. This is not the right thing to do. I'm just like trying to get it to complete, to see if there is any other problem other than the duplicates. Okay, so it does go through successfully. It does create this contact here. I can copy this ID to look at it. I can paste the ID even if it says lead object. It's going to change it to the actual object. So this contact got created just fine. Another thing, the only thing remaining is to relate the tasks and accounts. I'm sorry, tasks and email messages. And we can get the tasks. I can get the tasks that were associated with the lead. Let's try that. So get tasks. I'm gonna search for the task object on the where the what ID related to, maybe who ID. I think that's gonna be who ID. That's the lead. So that's the record ID. So we need any task related to this lead. I need all of these tasks, and then I will need to create like a task for each one. There might, I mean, it depends on the requirement, but we might either delete the tasks and delete the lead and then just like keep the contact, or maybe just like keep the lead with its tasks as is and just replicate the tasks. If that's the case, then I'm going to create a list of tasks, new list of tasks with the same values in here. So I'm going to need to loop through these tasks, and for each one of them, create a new task, assign it to a record variable, and then eventually collect all of them in a collection variable, and then create the tasks. And then the email message. I'm not sure how to do the email messages yet. I was planning to experiment with this here, but maybe we can do this next time. Let's I know we've got a couple of minutes. I'm looking at the comments. If you guys have any questions, if you don't have any questions, I'll just do the part where we loop through this in a minute if I can. If I can't get it in a minute, then we're good. So this is a record variable for one task. Let's see, a record for task object, and then we're gonna create another one that's a record collection variable for tasks. Now that's a collection of tasks, and then we're gonna loop through these tasks at the lead. Loop tasks from get tasks, and then for each one of them now we're gonna assign new task, and that's the record variable task. Let's say subject equals the current item from loop subject. So that's the same task now, but now we need this new task to be on the new contact record. So we need the who ID is the label name ID. Interesting. That's the contact that we created earlier. So that's the contact ID from create. So we're gonna that's enough for the task, and then I'll use another assignment. You can use the same assignment, and that's collect new tasks, and that's the record collection, and then add, and then record variable task. I'm just taking that task, adding it to a collection, and then eventually here create those tasks. Create tasks, multiple record collection variable tasks. We'll do email messages later on. I might try to go through the tasks and the email messages in the next live stream, or probably shoot a recording and put it on YouTube. That's pretty much it for today. Thank you everyone for being here. I'll just wait another minute in case anyone has anything to say in the comments, and then we'll conclude. I wish I could. I want to go over. I feel like I mean, it's a little bit difficult to talk for 1 hour. I mean, if it were a Zoom call, it would be good because some other people talk, and then I have to just not talk for a little bit. But I'm happy to probably just rest a little bit and see if I can shoot one for this, or probably do it next time. All right. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Gasser. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys maybe next time. Bye-bye. I'll try to figure out how to close all of this.